We woke from the darkness to the sound of struggle, but we were caged, hungry, until the friend came. This is Venom's origin story from the symbiote's perspective. The Venom symbiote was bonding with Peter, and Peter was falling in love with his new suit. Late one night in Midtown, Spider-Man swung up to the rooftops to show off his new suit to the Black Cat. Not only do I never need to refill my web shooters, but it responds to my thoughts. Black Cat's not impressed. She just thinks it's creepy, but they have a job to do. They race above the city's streets, eventually stopping at Hammerhead's secret hideout. This is where Hammerhead's stashing those guns? Kind of a swanky building for that. Black Cat jokes that she should have assumed when they started seeing each other that this was what their dates would be like. Peter didn't even realize it was a date. In a flash, the crime-fighting power couple springs into action. They careen through the skylight onto the gangsters below. The symbiote admires its new host. Peter is strong and brave, but his mind is troubled. When he's not fighting crime, he's getting chewed out by his boss, or lying to his Aunt May about where he's been, or showing up late to dates with the cat. I'm a fair woman, so I'm going to warn you. You need to do better if you want me to stick around. The symbiote feels Peter's pain. Even when he sleeps, Peter fears every decision he makes is the wrong one. So we will take control. The alien suit crawls across the room as Peter tosses and turns in bed. It crawls across Peter's chest, puppeteering his sleeping body. The friend has worn us. Now we will wear the friend. The sleepwalking Peter stands to his feet, unknowingly about to terrorize New York City. The symbiote knows that Peter is stronger than most people, and it knows that Peter has sworn his life to protecting the weak. So as Peter sleeps, the symbiote looks for someone to save. We find the weak meat, like the friend does, and protect it. The friendly, sleepwalking Spider-Man finds a woman in need. A thief just snatched her purse. The woman thanks him, but she has no idea what will happen next. Spider-Man webs the thief's hand before he can fire his gun, then knocks him to the ground with a powerful punch. Then he punches again and again. Spider-Man is beating this man to death over a stolen purse. Oh God, what did you do to his face? The woman faints at the brutal sight. Spider-Man stands, his hands soaked in blood, but the symbiote is proud. The weak meat is safe. The friend would be so pleased with what we have done, and we will do so much more. Peter wakes up the next morning, having no idea the sins his body committed. As far as he knows, he's been sleeping all night. But why is he still so tired? He checks the clock. 5 p.m.? How is that possible? A knock comes at the door. It's Mary Jane Watson. They may not be dating anymore, but she's still a concerned friend, and Peter's been acting weird. She offers to take him out to dinner. So, you haven't been sleeping? That's just it. I've been sleeping like a rock. They chat for a while. Work's not going well. Life is tough. Same old, same old. MJ insists that he goes to a doctor, but all Peter can do is reminisce about the old days, when they were in love and life was easier. Peter can't stop dwelling on his old life, his mistakes, and everything he's ever lost. When he gets home, he goes straight back to bed, and just like every night, the symbiote takes control. The symbiote watches and waits for the proper prey. When a few burglars smash the windows at a small bodega, it strikes. Spider-Man? No, it's much worse than that. Peter is haunted by nightmares, dreaming that he was strong enough to save Uncle Ben all those years ago, dreaming that he was fast enough to save Gwen Stacy. The symbiote is fueled by his pain, taking out his rage on the criminal's jaws. The petty criminals beg for mercy, but Peter doesn't say a word. We let the friend sleep. He never sees the work we do. Peter sleepwalks away from the scene of the crime, leaving behind an alley full of beaten down corpses. But if he could see, how proud he would be! Peter jolts from his bed with a scream. It was just a dream, but there was so much blood. What a nightmare. Nightmare? Psh, what could give the amazing Spider-Man nightmares? Black Cat is perched on his windowsill, watching her lover sleep. He chastises her for breaking in. She tells him to lock his window. He did lock his window, but she's literally a cat burglar. Locks don't bother her. Never mind that. What's bothering you? Peter isn't sure. It's like insomnia, but he can't stop sleeping. He wakes up even more tired, and every time he closes his eyes, he has visions of hurting people. Peter's starting to scare Black Cat. He should take it easy on crime fighting. And like Mary Jane, she insists he goes to see a doctor. But Peter just doesn't have time. No time for anything. He doesn't have time to work, no time to see Aunt May. He hasn't even had time to take the new suit to read. All of my hours just seem to be eaten up by sleep. Of course, the next time he does sleep, the walking nightmare continues. A handful of gangsters are arguing on a dimly lit sidewalk. A few kids wanted to shoot the dice, not realizing they'd encroached on Hammerhead's turf. Arguments quickly turn to violence. The gangsters pull out guns and begin to exchange fire. One of the kids ducks down, upset about what's been happening to his neighborhood. Lucky for him, Spider-Man is here to save the day. Spider-Man takes down the gangsters with lightning precision, breaking their noses and laying waste to the criminals. The one thing he's missing is trademark Spidey quips. The gangsters try to talk trash, but he wastes them before they can finish. By the end of it, it's only Spider-Man remaining. The young, fearful kid pokes his head out, walking through a sidewalk filled with corpses. Wow, just wow. So who the hell are you? The kid thought he was Spider-Man, but Spidey does not do that. I mean, thanks for stopping the shooting, but damn, son. Spider-Man menacingly steps right in the kid's face. The young man is grateful, but you can't just go around smashing skulls in the street. These guys have families, right? This kid literally goes to school with one of those guys' sons. The symbiote is curious. The way this meat talks. His body is so small and weak, but his will is powerful. You still ain't got boo to say? The silent spider and shit? Aight. So they don't teach you guys about not killing people in superhero school or whatever? But this kid's probably seen worse. He doesn't seem all that traumatized as Spider-Man swings him home. This is fun as hell, man. Wait, what's that? There's a fire. An entire apartment building engulfed in flames. Almost everyone seems to have gotten out, but there's still a man on the top floor. The silent spider hesitates, but only for a second. It knows that fire can harm it. There's nothing it fears more. But Peter would not hesitate. Peter would act, and so the symbiote does too. To do any less would be to reject him. The symbiote shoots a web down below the man's window, just low enough to climb down to the streets. Everyone starts to cheer and thank Spider-Man, but then they see him. Who is that? Come on, let's get out of here before people start sweating you. Spider-Man and the kid dart away. As the symbiote drops him off at home, the kid thanks him. It started out rough, but he might do all right as a superhero. Without a word, Spider-Man swings away, leaving the kid alone. A figure soon approaches the now helpless kid. So, you know Spider-Man, huh? Let's me and you have a talk. That night, the symbiote lets Peter sleep, but the two are becoming bonded. The symbiote is starting to feel Peter's sixth sense. Without knowing why, the symbiote crawls back across Peter's body. He needs to find that kid. The symbiote Spider-Man scours the city, quickly finding Hammerhead's warehouse. The dark figure crashes through the ceiling, immediately crushing the throat of the first goon he finds. These meats stand between us and the young friend. But they don't stand for very long. Spider-Man beats each and every one down, even more brutally than before. He needs to find that kid. Soon, the man himself arrives. Hammerhead. The gang lord knew Spidey would come, but he only needed his henchmen to keep Spidey busy for a moment while he charges this. It's called the Slagger, and now I'm gonna use it to... He's cut off by the sound of a sci-fi weapon. It sends a massive sound blast at Spider-Man, tearing the symbiote off his sleeping body. But this time, it's the kid's turn to save Spider-Man. He bites the henchman holding him back, runs up to Hammerhead's machine, and yanks out the cord. Spider-Man shoots to his feet, the pain gone. He and Hammerhead get into an old-school brawl. Hammerhead's tougher than the symbiote expected. The gangster headbutts Spider-Man, living up to his namesake. Still, Spider-Man doesn't talk, just releasing a demonic hiss. What in the hell's wrong with you anyway? Why ain't you talking? Usually you can't shut up. They trade a few more blows until Spider-Man sends a lefty hook to end the fight. The symbiote knows this man is corrupted. He must be eliminated. Spider-Man prepares to administer the finishing blow as Hammerhead begs for his life. But the symbiote stops, not because of what Hammerhead's saying, but because of his young friend's pleas. No, you can't do this. Let's just go, bruh. Please. The symbiote obeys. He scoops up the boy and leaves as Hammerhead weakly stands to his feet. He doesn't know who that was, but that was not Spider-Man. Hammerhead orders his men to never breathe a word of this fight to anyone. Outside of the kid's apartment, the symbiote looks at his new friend, almost like a pet. The kid says he could be a great hero if he just chilled out a little bit. That night, the symbiote crawls into bed, realizing Peter's body is weaker than it's ever been. The symbiote will let Peter rest. He'd never do anything to hurt him. We will hold him close to us forever. Little does the symbiote know, this is the first day Peter takes his new suit to Reed Richards. Reed discovers what we already know. The suit is alive. Peter tries to take it off. He's betraying the symbiote. We try and try to hold on, for the friend needs us, and we need the friend. Reed shoots the creature with a sonic blaster, once again causing that piercing pain. But the physical pain is nothing compared to knowing that the symbiote's friend is rejecting him. Again, we have been hurt. Again, we have been caged. Our only friend has been torn from us. The friend hates us now. The friend thinks he is done with us, but we are not done with him.